Okay, so this video is going to be focused on the formula y equals kx, where we are going to only focus on the letter k. And the letter k is going to be our constant. Okay, constant. And another word for constant will be average. Average. Okay, and in order for us to find our constant, we do have a formula, and our formula will be y over x, or our output over our input, because we talked about it in class that y is our output and our x is our input. Okay, let's jump into a couple examples using this formula y over x. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the formula. I'm gonna try to leave the formula in the picture. If not, it'll be okay. I'll go ahead and rewrite it somewhere here. Oh, I'll go ahead and write it somewhere here. Y over x. So if I'm trying to find the constant of this table here, I'm going to take my x, I'm going to take my y, and my y will actually be, if I can get a pointer here, my y will be, excuse my dog, this row right here. All these numbers, those are my y values, okay? And so my x values will be all these numbers right here. Okay. Now, so if I just substitute, and I know you guys know what substitute is. I take my first interval. So I'm going to circle my first interval. Okay. Because to find the constant, all we need is 1 point. Okay. Or 1 interval. So I'm going to take my y value, which is going to be my numerator, 5, over my x, which is in this case is 1. It's 1. Okay, so 5 divided by 1 is 5. Okay, so now I work with the second interval, because in order to find the constant, we only need 1 point. But we got to make sure that we also check the other points, because they can trick us and throw us a curveball. Okay, so now, I'm going to take my y value, which is going to be 10 in that interval, and put 10 over my number 2. So I can reduce this down to 2 goes into 10 5 times, and 2 goes into 2 1 time. So 5 divided by 1 is 5. Okay, I'm going to make a little space here on the side. I check my last interval, which is this. Okay, my y is 15 over 3, and this reduces down to 5 over 1, which is also 5. So my constant rate of change is going to be 5. So if I'm trying to, let me move this back over again. If I'm trying to find, say for example, what 7 is, all I need to do is take 5, because 5 is my constant change, okay? It is my constant, and I multiply it by 7, which is going to be 35. Okay. So how do we write this in a formula y equals kx? Well, this is how we write it. Okay. Y, or my output, is equal to k. We know what k is. We just found out what k was, and it is 5. So instead of putting k, I go ahead and put 5, and then I put x. So my formula for this table will be y equals 5x. Let's go ahead and do another example real quick. Okay, I have another table here. Okay, now they give us a missing number at the very end. But all we need is 1 point. Okay, once again, my formula will be y over x. So if I take the first interval, I'm going to do 12 divided by 3, and it reduces down to 4. Okay, I take my next interval. Okay, so 24 divided by 6, that reduces down to 4, because all I got to do is take 24 divided by 6 in a calculator, and I get 4. So I'm going to do one more, because I'm going to check the last interval. The last interval is 9 and 36, so I'm going to take 36 as my numerator and divide it by 9. So if I put that in a calculator, 36 divided by 9, I'm going to get 4. Okay, so my constant rate of change is going to be 4, because they're all 4. Okay, now my formula for this is going to be y equals 4x. So now we're trying to find this missing number. We know we can use this formula because this formula is going to work for this table. Okay, how does it work? Well, because we checked every single interval that we have and the constant change was the same. It was 4. So we know that is going to work for this table. So I'm going to scoot to the side here a little bit because all we need is my formula and the number 12. Since 12 is my x value, 12 is x, I'm going to go ahead, or my input, I'm going to go ahead and replace the x with the number 12. So I rewrite my formula. Y equals, I'm going to use a different color, y equals 4 times, and I put a parentheses, times 12. Because we replace the x, I go ahead and grab the x and I ball it up and I throw it away in the garbage. And I replace it with the number 12. Okay, so I replace it with the number 12. So if I take 12 times 4, well, if I take 12 times 4, 12 times 4, that's a times. Okay, 4 times, or 2 times 4 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. So my answer is going to be y equals to 48. So this number here will go inside this box. So for every 12 input, I get 48 as an output. Okay, and let's do one more, and that'll be it for this video. Kind of like Burger says, I know you guys want to see more, but I'm going to go ahead and cut you off here. Okay, now we have a word problem. Okay, and it says, Samantha sells shoes at Shoes for Less. On average, she can sell 15 pairs of shoes per hour. Write an equation in the form of y equals kx for this situation. Okay, so I'm reading this word problem, and I'll go ahead and go back to the first sentence, and it just says Samantha sells shoes at Shoes for Less. There is nothing important in that sentence there, so I just disregard it. Okay, now go to the next sentence. On average, she can sell 15 pairs of shoes per hour. Well, if I go back to the beginning of the video, I said another word for constant was average. So on average, she can sell 15 pairs. So I know that I need to underline that. And I'm going to see if I can underline that pair. Yes, I can. Okay. 15 pairs of shoes on average. Okay, average is another word for constant for the letter K. So I go ahead and rewrite my equation now because I know what my constant is. Y equals 15x, because all I do is just follow my formula. Okay, now if it says anything like how many shoes does Samantha sell in 2 hours, well, we know that hours is going to be our input, because I said that most of the time our input will be the letter, or I'm sorry, time will be the letter x. So if I take out the x and I replace it with the number 2, I multiply 15 times 2, and y, which is my shoes, my output, that's what I'm trying to find out, is my output. Time is my input. Shoes is my output. Okay? So y is going to be, in this case, 15 times 2. If I want to find out how many hours, because this is hours. Okay? And y is shoes. Oh, shoes. Okay? How many shoes can she sew in 2 hours? Well, I multiply 15 times 2, and y is going to be 30. Voila.